Good morning, guys, and welcome back to section 2.3, solving inequalities using multiplication and division. So, last class we used addition and subtraction. Hopefully you guys found the homework pretty easy. If you ever need to, you can email me and I'll send you back a response helping you out. We could go a little bit more into depth. But today we're going to move on. We're going to move on to multiplication and division. So, same concept, right? So, we have to pay attention if we're multiplying or dividing by positive numbers. Alright? We'll get into this later in this section, but this is super, super important. Alright, so right now we're going to be working with positive numbers. So, we have to isolate our x, right? So how do we isolate our x? We need to divide by 3. So we're going to divide both sides by 3, right? And when we divide both sides by 3, we have x, and this is going to give us negative 7. Let's make sure it's pointed at the right spot. But to get into graphing form, you want to turn it around, right? So we're going to have x and negative 7. We want to make sure it's pointing still at the x. Oh, I messed up. At the x. Alright, so perfect. And when we go ahead and graph this, you guys should be professionals at graphing now. We have negative 7, negative 6, negative 8. Close the dot. And we want to shade to the left. Alright, and to check our work, is negative 8 less than or equal to 7? Yes. Yes, it is. Alright, so that's kind of what we're going to do with positive numbers. Isolate and solve. So example 2, we have x divided by 3. X divided by 3 is greater than 5. And this is going to be example 2. So x divided by 3 is greater than 5. So how do we isolate our x? We have to multiply 3 to both sides. We're going to multiply by 3. Multiply by 3. This 3 and this 3 are going to cancel out, leaving us with x. Drop down our inequality because we are multiplying by a positive number. And then 5 times 3 is 15. This is in graphing form. So when you go and graph, we have 15, 16, 14. We have a open dot, and we want to shade to the right. We want to shade to the right. To check our answer, is 16 greater than 15? Yes. So we know we did it correct. So this one, we're going to have a U try. U try. We have 4x is greater than 36. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that. And then I'll do it and we could check. So when you guys are finishing up, you can check your answer on the board. Hopefully we all got the same answer. So for x is greater than 36, we have to first divide by 4 from both sides to isolate our x. Right? These will cancel. 36 divided by 4 gives us 9. And this is in graphing form. So we can go and graph it. Oh, is my pen dying? Nope. There we go. So we have 8, 9, and 10. Open dot on the 9, shaded to the right. So positive numbers, pretty easy, right? We've been doing that for a while now. But now we have negative numbers. All right, so we're going to change this to negative. So, solving inequalities by negative numbers. When we do this, right, when you divide by a negative number or multiply, the inequality sign switches to keep it in equivalent inequality. So if we divided or multiplied by a negative number and this was our sign, well now it's going to look like that, right? So let's give an example so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So example 1. We have negative 24. Negative 24 is greater than or equal to a negative 3x. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is we have to divide by negative 3. Right? So we're dividing by a negative 3. Well, we know 3 times 7 gives us 24, so this is going to give us a 7, right? A negative divided by a negative gives us a positive. These will cancel out to give us an x. But what do we do with the inequality, right? What are we going to do with this? We're going to bring it down and switch it. So first it was pointing this way. Now we need it to point this way, right? To keep it equivalent. And this gets a little weird now because now we have to put it in graphing form. So we switched it, right? But now we need to put it back in the graphing form. So we want to put our x over here, our 7 over here, and rotate it again. So hopefully by the end of this lesson, you guys are going to be masters at rotating that inequality sign. Super important. It makes your life a whole lot easier when you know how to kind of juggle and do it all. All right, so let's move on to example 2. It's not that bad when you get the hang of it. So example 2, we have x over 2, right? So negative x over 2 is greater than 5. So this is a negative fraction. We don't want to work with negative fractions, right? So we're going to multiply by negative 2 to get rid of that fraction too. So when we multiply by negative 2, we're going to have to switch our sign, right? So right now it's opening this way. We want it to open the opposite way. So you know it's going to be that. We can bring our x down. 5 times negative 2 gives us negative 10. And when we go and we graph it, we have negative 10, negative 9, negative 11. Open dot on 10, and we want to shade to the left. All right. Cool. So example 3, we have negative 4x is greater than negative 36. So the first thing we want to do again is isolate our x by dividing by negative 4. The 4's will cancel out. We need to switch, right? Because we're dividing by a negative, we want to switch this and then divide, right? These will turn to positives, 9. When we go and we graph this, we'll have 9, 10, 8, open dot. We want to shade to the left. So it's not too bad, it's doable. So we have 2 U-try problems. Alright, so we're going to have a U-try. We got problem number 1. We have 2 is less than x over negative 3. Alright, so this is problem 1. Problem 2, we have negative 7x, not equals, that would be nice. It is less than 35. So, try that and we will see how you guys are doing. Alright, so when you guys are done, we can check our work. So we have 2 is greater than negative x over 3. We're going to multiply by a negative 3. Right, so negative 3 times 2, 6. We've got to make sure we change our sign. So negative 6 is greater than x. Right? We want to switch this around to be x is less than 6. And when we go and graph, we have an open dot on the 6 and we want to shade to the left. If you guys saw, I forgot to change it around and I actually messed up on my graph. So it's really, really important that we turn it around, and I even have to remember that, all right? So let's make sure we always turn it around to be in graphing form. Over here, we have 7x is less than 35. We have to divide by negative 7 to isolate our x, and that will give us x is greater than, switch the sign, negative 5. We put an open dot on -5 and we shade to the right. All right, so that's the lesson for today. That's the lesson for today. Your homework is going to be on page 71, numbers 3 through 18, and 21 to 26. Again, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. You know, this lesson is really important. It's really important to remember that negative, right? If there's a negative, you have to switch the sign. Very, very important. All right, so the homework, it's going to be jumping in between positive and negative. So that should be good practice for you guys. Please email me. All right, I'm always free. Thank you.